Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 201 of Is This Thing Working? And is this thing working, Denise? Is it working today?
I don't know yet. Do you think we were heard yesterday? You think people listen?
I hope so. I hope so.
People listen and understand where we're coming from. Most times we are, well, all the time, we are here to bring you the signal like we hear from Steve Bannon all the time.
Yeah.
And we want to be heard, and we want, we believe in America so passionately that we are here every single day to bring you the information to help you, because, we had to learn it all on our own.
Well, yeah.
And to get to where we're at and what we do know and where we know to find the correct information.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, we're patriots. We love our country. I love what our country stands for. I love freedom, and I love liberty. I love everything about our country, and I see the bad things and the authoritarian things and the draconian things that go on in other countries. And I look at that and I go, man, I'm glad that ain't going on here in America. But then you look and you realize, damn, it is. That's the signal that we bring. We bring to you the things that we want you to be informed about each and every day, man.
Yeah, and people are so used to getting their information from mainstream media, or what we call legacy media. And they talk about the same things over and over, and you get so used to hearing this that you get conditioned.
That's the only thing going on.
That's the only thing. But that's not the only thing going on. There is so much going on elsewhere in different platforms and different ways we can get our information. Now, we are so fortunate to be able to just weed through it all and actually find what's true. And we're going to talk about a lot of that today. Are you having a hard time being heard? I mean, on social media, it's so cliquish, just like in high school, junior high, and all that kind of stuff. And we understand, there are some people that are just louder, but in order to be heard, sometimes you have to be louder.
Yeah. Well, and my biggest frustration with social media is algorithm. That's my biggest frustration with it. Like you say, it's cliquish, it's this, it's that. I feel like if you have 8,000 friends, then when you post something, you should get a better return on your views than 0.001% or 0.01%. You know what I mean? So, and that's where a lot of my frustration and aggravation came in yesterday, is because we try to bring you good, like you said, good, smart, well-rounded information and opinion. And we see people that get 500,000 views, and basically all they do is just sit there and insult people. And
all day long, man, and cuss at people. And is that what you want? You want people that are going to dog you, and I don't understand it. Maybe I'm from a different time era. I'm not for sure, but I know I raised my children, who are millennials,
to be respectful.
Of other people,
and to be smart,
and to really write a smart post. If you're an influencer and you're influencing people, then maybe you're the problem, influencing them by dogging everything.
Here's another thing that I have a problem with, and I get where you're coming from, is a lot of times you see these posts on there, and they're asking the same questions over and over and over and over, and nobody ever brings solution. Nobody ever brings an answer. So you just get this same repeat, And
if you ask the question, hey, who's going to bring the answer? What are you going to do about that? You don't get nothing. No one brings anything to the table whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
So we are here, like I said, to bring you and break through the narrative of influencers and the mainstream media.
And we do want to state that you're listening to us. These are our opinions, and they're our assertions. And if you agree with us, you tell your friends and you share our show.
And if you don't agree with us, what did we say yesterday? We don't give a crap.
Yep.
You just share the show.
Yep.
And also stomp that like button. And please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name. Is This Thing Working? And our podcast is available for download on all platforms like Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. But make sure you
download that Rumble app so that you can follow the show and you'll receive instant notifications when we go live every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m.
Central Standard Time.
Yep.
Steve Bannon, 65 days a political prisoner of the Harris administration. And the call to action today is the same as it was yesterday and the day before and the day before. Call your congressman.
Exactly. Make your voice heard.
Make
That's
your
what we're
voice
wanting
heard. And, you know, we were talking about being heard yesterday. Well, it's amazing to me and James that that's all we saw everywhere yesterday. And we're like, hey, do people listen to us? Because now today, here we go. From the War Room, Carrie Donovan, the importance of being heard. But then, of course, they're promoting War Room's Bill Blaster, which empowers citizens to make an impact. Go right now and download the Bill Blaster app. It will be your friend.
Be informed.
Be informed and become engaged. It is the app that empowers everyday Americans to hold their representatives and accountable and ensure that their voices are heard. And we need to be calling our representatives every single day. Hey, you put them there. They work for you.
Exactly.
Every single day.
And Grace Chung goes on to say that in this article that we're looking at, that Bill Blaster simplifies this process. It allows you to call your representatives virtually with just one touch. The ease of use has made the app incredibly popular among the War Room Posse, which is a community of what? Engaged citizens. And the app's success has led to developing a second phase, which is including features like information on recent bills and notifications about representatives' voting records. Those are important things. You need to know the people you're voting for. You need to be informed about what they're voting for you, for your people in your community and in your state. Ben Harnwell also talks about this, and he says that he shared an inspiring story just to underscore the political impact of all of this. He mentioned a recent BBC article about a U.S. man who was sentenced to 12 months in prison for making over 12,000 harassing phone calls to lawmakers. Now, it says while Harnwell didn't condone harassment, he used this story to illustrate the power of persistent pressure. If one person could create such a stir, imagine the impact if the entire War Room Posse applied the same energy in a focused and lawful manner. He said the needle would move so quickly you could get whiplash from watching it. Amen.
Amen.
And that's what we
highlights the significance of this, and it's very, very important because what we have going on right now is our congressmen that will not listen. They will not listen. They don't want to be heard. I mean, they don't want you to be heard. I mean, we continue to tell you to call your representatives, and I know that you're doing it, and so are we. I mean, we contact them. Our representative, man, he sends us stuff about things he likes instead of what the people actually want,
Exactly.
in the mail all the time. So we know he's hearing us because all of a sudden we get something in the mail that's total opposite. Well, we got to be bipartisan, the bipartisan this and the bipartisan that. Well, right now is not a bipartisan time in America. Right now, we're fighting the leftist Democrats right now. We're just fighting them, and that we have to vote for President Trump on November 5th. That's just a have to thing in order to save the country. Today, President Trump is going to be at the Economic Club of New York, and he is going to establish the Government Efficiency Commission proposed to him by tech mogul Elon Musk during an interview on X. The American First Leader, is expected to announce this commission will oversee a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and outline recommendations for drastic reform. This is huge. And really, I would rather this happen than you go in there and just fire everybody. Go in there and find out what the problems are.
Yes.
And get rid of that. Get rid of waste. Get rid of those government little agencies that are stuck off in there.
Exactly. Jack Montgomery, who wrote this article in National Pulse, goes on to say that President Trump and Elon Musk bonded over their mutual disdain for the government waste during this conversation back in August, with President Trump observing that nobody negotiates prices. He cited efforts by officials to get him to sign off on a $5.7 billion for Boeing to provide 2 Air Force One jets while he was in office as an example, with Musk calling the sum insane and suggesting similar bloat could be multiplied by a zillion across the government. And that's when President Trump talks about draining the swamp, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the criminal, the people that act like criminals in these organizations,
that think that they have to have all this money to work. I mean, I remember this particular incident when he was president and doing this. He actually chewed them down.
Well,
like way, way down. He's like, you don't need that much money.
That's draining the swamp too, because what you're going to do is take that away from them and take them out of control.
Yes.
I get that, man.
So I'm 100% on board. Well, there was breaking news this morning about one of President Trump's cases. It says, breaking from Laura Loomer, America First Legal has just announced that they are suing Judge Juan Merchan and the Ethics Commission for the New York State Unified Court System for illegally concealing Judge Merchan's financial disclosures from 2018 to 2024. And everyone knows Judge Merchan is set to sentence President Trump on September 18th, and it's going to get wild, everyone, because the rumors, which, we're just saying are rumors,
yeah,
that he's going to be sentenced to jail. I don't know. I mean, it's.
Well, I've already heard too that a lot of the NYPD are going to take that day off because they do not want to be there in amongst all this when it goes down too.
I know. There are people really trying to fight this, what's fixing to happen to him, and it's one thing after another, after another, after another. I mean, they just will not stop. And, right at this point in time, they're afraid.
Yeah.
So everything they do is I'm going to get you moment, and it's constantly happening all over the place. The media is crazy right now. And it's so noisy, and you can't make heads or tails of anything. I mean, even I have a hard time. I can't even hardly watch the mainstream media anymore. I mean, I go to try to get some information from them, but man, does it make my tummy turn.
Who's the one you probably despise the most?
Sean Hannity.
I get it, man.
I can't watch him. President Trump was on Hannity last night, and we did record it, and we watched it last night before bedtime, and it was a great interview. President Trump is such a fun person to watch, and he does his own thing now. I have noticed since the beginning in 2016 how, strict and this and that, and he did everything just so. Well, President Trump has really come into himself, I think. And I don't think he likes any of the media, including Sean Hannity. And it was kind of funny how the crowd was so fired up for Trump.
They picked up on that vibe.
They did. They picked up on his vibe. He kept giving the eye to Hannity, hey, let me talk type of stuff. Because Hannity he repeats himself over and over and over again. If you've watched one show, you've watched all of them. And he did it last night with the border. Well, everything that's going on in America with the border, with this, which we heard from him for 8 years now.
What I've noticed with Sean Hannity, the way that he conducts his interview is he'll start the interview off on a topic. He'll tell you what he thinks, and then he'll ask you what you think about what he just said. That's, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And President Trump just steamrolled him last night. He wasn't going to let him get by with that last night. Check this out here. And that's another thing that we talk about. Everybody in this country loves President Trump. Don't you listen to what the media tells you. Everybody in this country loves Donald J. Trump.
And he's just fun to watch. People love to watch him. You never can tell what's going to happen.
Here, him and the crowd had some fun with Sean Hannity. This was kind of cool.
Actually, they keep saying 60, but it starts in Delaware and North Carolina and other places a lot sooner than that. So I think we're going to be very well set up to do a great job. And do we love Pennsylvania? Do we love it?
Let me ask you. Mr. President, let me ask you this. Between Thank you. This is a very tough interview.
One thing I'll say is that we did great in 2016. We did much better in 2020. We got millions of more votes. But there has never been enthusiasm like we have now. I mean, I see it all over. There's never been anything like it.
That's real, man.
Yes. And he was that way all night long. And, at the end of it, Sean comes out and he goes, okay, well, President Trump was fixing to start talking to the crowd, and taking questions. And Sean's like, oh, hold on. We got to do that tomorrow. We'll have it taped. We'll do it now, and then and then you can see it tomorrow. President Trump turned around and looked at him. You do everything in 2 parts. Like, how dare you? Why couldn't you make a 2-hour town hall for President Trump?
I agree.
Fox News could have done that.
Yeah.
So
the vibe was good. The energy in the crowd was good, and they were attentive. They were hanging on every word that he said. Why not give them their chance? Why not give?
Yes.
Yeah. Why not give the nation a chance to see what the real people
live
are? That's right, live, and let them see what the real people are asking. Let their voices be heard.
Let's watch tonight, everyone, and see if it's different vibe. Let's see if they take and click and do whatever they decide to do to lower President Trump's voice. So watch Fox News tonight, and we'll let you know what we think about it tomorrow. In the interim, here we go. Gutfeld, he went scorched earth last night. Now, we do like Gutfeld. He's about the only one, besides Maria, on there that we watch. So listen to Gutfeld, and he will tell you exactly what everyone else thinks about the mainstream media, except for the leftist Democrats.
Except for the mainstream media. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go back further, the way the media manages reality by shifting attention away from the White House cocaine, the non-existent P-tape, the 51 intel officers authoring a letter debunking the very real laptop, the Nord Stream pipeline destruction, Epstein's suicide, the COVID lab leak. These stories can all be dismissed because the people who run the faucets of information pick and choose their interests to control reality. But there's only one reality. They couldn't control it. It rhymes with Trump, because it is. It shouldn't have been this hard for the media this time. But Trump, being so transparent and passionately followed, makes them sloppy. They end up showing their cards and exposing the game. How else can an attempted assassination just evaporate and a coup go uninvestigated while the least popular Democrat in recent history becomes Obama 2.0? The fact is, the people in charge want you to think you're making the choice, but they're making it for you. And it's right off their menu, a day-old Kamala special with a side of stupid.
Amen, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one of the things that he mentioned in that is the fact that they try to keep these stories that are signal away from you. One of those is that the House panel in Minnesota has issued a subpoena for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in an investigation into the misuse of COVID-19 relief funds. The House Education and Workforce Committee demands documents related to the Minnesota Department of Education's management of federal child nutrition programs, man.
Yeah, we're getting this information from Raheem Kassam from the National Pulse.
Yeah, he goes on to say the probe centers on Feeding Our Future, a Muslim-run Minnesota nonprofit accused of a $250 million fraud scheme targeting hunger relief efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Justice has called the scheme an exploitation of programs intended to feed children in need. Chairwoman Virginia Fox Republican of North Carolina, she wrote this. She said, as a chief executive and the highest ranking official in the state of Minnesota, you are responsible for the Minnesota Department of Education and its administration of the Federal Child Nutrition Program. Statements in the press by you and your representatives indicate that you and other executive officers were involved or had knowledge of MDE's administration of the nutrition program and the responsibilities and actions regarding the massive fraud, she said. As an officer of the Legislative Auditor's report has criticized MDE's oversight of this, identifying it as inadequate with rife opportunities for fraud. So they've issued the subpoenas. They've also issued subpoenas to the Minnesota Department of Education Commissioner Willie Jett, Agriculture Secretary Thomas Vilsack, and Agriculture Department Inspector General Phyllis Fong. They must all comply by September 18th.
Boy, September 18th is getting a really important day there.
Yes, it is.
And this is what we bring you, folks. I had to hunt for this, and I knew that it was out there. I knew I had seen something on it yesterday evening, and I wanted to talk about it today because this is the people that we're dealing with. They are criminals. They continue to break laws, but then you, on the other hand, who are living your life, being a podcaster, you know, for example, us, and then other podcasters that are out there in this wonderful, huge movement that we have all come together. And this is everybody. This is Democrats, liberals, independents, conservatives, you know, moderates, all over the world, all over the United States have come together to say, we are done with you. We have done that. But the DOJ and the powers that be do not want to listen to you at all. So much so that now the DOJ and the Biden-Harris have indictments that reveal conservative pundits targeted by Russia influence campaign, including Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Taylor Hansen, Dave Rubin. I mean,
the list is hilarious.
The list is
man.
hilarious.
If anybody has ever listened to Tim Pool, I can tell you one thing about him. He might be in the middle on a lot of things.
He is in the middle on a lot of things.
But I tell you what, Tim Pool does love. He loves this country, and he loves being an American. And he understands and he knows what American values are. And in my mind, Tim Pool's a patriot.
100%, because you know what? He went and he did the work, and he looked and he saw and
he learned.
And he learned, you know, and he got engaged and become informed, and he is a liberal, I'm telling you. And he is for Donald Trump. That tells you a lot. And because there's so many people coming over to the, you know, conservative side here, President Trump side, the America First side, really is what we're all about. Robert Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, you know.
Strength in numbers.
The
establishment is scared. They're running scared. This is more
death.
proof of it right here. They're so scared that they're going to come out with another Russia hoax, man. This is it. Here it is. To explain what this is talking about, what we're talking about here, Gateway Pundit said that earlier yesterday, the Biden and Harris regime announced it was launching this whole government action to purge the so-called Russian propaganda and disinformation ahead of the 2024 election. Biden, now, all of a sudden, Biden's back out in the news. All of a sudden, he's left the beach and he's at home. Oh shit, man.
Biden
Russia's
hasn't done nothing.
Yeah.
Biden, they just used Biden's name.
But it said he accused Russia of a sustained effort to influence the upcoming election, according to CNN and NBC. Then this afternoon, the DOJ announced that employees from Russia's Today's media outlet had invested a $10 million scheme to create and distribute content to U.S. audiences with hidden Russian government messaging. And this all comes the day after Tim Pool says he's going to file a legal lawsuit of defamation against Kamala Harris.
Yes, for a video that she doctored and put out of Tim Pool that was false.
That was false, exactly.
100%. And Laura Loomer also was at the show. So they put them together, spliced words and everything together, and he is ticked. But it's amazing how this come out right after, right after it. I mean, Tim pointed that out. A lot of people pointed that out. Tim came out with a statement and said, hey, laugh, laugh, laugh.
Yeah.
And everyone on social media is laughing. They're like, this is another hoax. Do you think we believe any other hoaxes? And you're going to hear, I mean, they go on to say exactly, company one. They don't give the company's name or anything, but they do come out and they say over at least the past year, RT, which is Russia Today, which is a media outlet funded and directed by the government of Russia. But RT and its employees, including, I can't say these people's names, I'm sorry.
Two Russians,
deployed nearly $10 million to covertly finance and direct a Tennessee-based online content creation company. U.S. Company Number One is what they're calling it. In turn, U.S. Company One published English language videos on multiple social media channels, including TikTok, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Since publicly launching in or around November 2023, the U.S. Company One has posted nearly 2,000 videos that have garnered more than 16 million views on YouTube alone. Many of the videos posted by U.S. Company One contain commentary on events and issues in the U.S., such as immigration, inflation, and other topics related to domestic and foreign policy. While the views expressed in the videos are not uniform, most are directed to the public stated goals by the government of Russia and RT to amplify domestic divisions in the United States, folks.
Okay. And all of that big word salad that they just put up there.
What did you get out of it?
What I got out of it was, hey, if you speak out against us, we don't like you and we're going to come after you.
And you're Russia. You're
Russian disinformation.
Putting out Russia talking points because you don't agree with us.
Well, yeah, exactly. And whatever excuse that they use, whether it's Russia talking points, whether it's insurrection, whether it's incitement, any of those things, I guess the hard truth about that is if they don't like what you say about them, they're going to come after you.
That's exactly right.
This is the problems that we're having in our country, people. Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. We couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.